it's like, oh, all women are hoes and like it's hoflation. I can't get a girlfriend. It's like you can't get a girlfriend because you keep sending them a picture of your dick randomly. Like, stop doing that. Like,
Based.
not every single bad thing that happens to you in life is a problem with culture. Sometimes you are the agent of your own demise.
I am addicted. I'm so addicted. This is like my guilty pleasure at this point. Like pivoing my way through Asmongold videos. Why Gen Z men reject feminism. I'm sure a bunch of these anecdotal videos will definitely be an accurate representation of the general population. Right, guys? Right? Surely.
Why Gen Z men reject feminism?
Why are Gen Z men saying f off to feminism? Yesterday, BBC News shared an article that showed the widening gap between Gen Z men and...
I'm just going to say something. I'm sorry. If this is a cool guy, I'm sorry, but like, this guy triggers my fight or flight response. I don't know if it's the mustache or him being a Brit or the mullet or the fade or all of them combined. I don't know, but it's, you know?
and Gen Z women, with a particular trend showing that Gen Z women are becoming more progressive.
I would want to steal
and Gen
them.
Z
I
men...
saw the graph. Yeah. Remember, it was the two graphs, one like South Korea, where it was like a huge difference. And like, you know, in the UK and all that. Yeah.
Dude, Asmongold's editor is he kind of go hard though. It says South Korea. Oh, South Korea's bad. South Korea is like, they have like a whole ass like anti-feminism movement. It's getting really bad. Incel Kingdom. Yeah, there was a video we watched on like, let me see if I can, let's do a really, really fast Google search. South Korea, it was this one. It was this one from Vice. It's called Feminism is Dividing This Country. It's a protest, a women's protest. Inequality and the plight of women are a disgrace to the international community. Stop it now.
Thousands are here today in Seoul protesting against what they describe as a growing anti-feminism movement in South Korea. Women fear
Feminism isn't dividing shit. Loser men with no game are. Dude, like, how do I say what I'm trying to say? I think this is, I'm going to say something. Okay. You guys just let me cook for a second. I think because our cities have become less walkable and because technology has allowed us to stay at home, because historically staying at home was boring as fuck. Well, like you didn't have a lot of things to do. You could read, maybe do some drawing or whatever. Generally speaking, if you wanted to do anything fun, you had to find a way to go outside. So even if your city wasn't walkable, the internet wasn't around, so it forced you to go outside. Like, I forced myself to go outside until basically we had a computer at home. Like, and I hated it because I didn't get along with other kids. And I just got like bullied and stuff, and but it forced me to get interactions and to learn human interactions and to learn how to navigate those interactions, right? So maybe I wouldn't get picked when we would play dodgeball or softball, and then I would be told, yeah, we just have too many people. And it's like, but you guys have odd numbers and you're playing dodgeball. Wouldn't me being there make it even numbers?
South Korea is the premier region for League of Legends. Of course, they hate women.
That's a really specific example. It's because it's true. Okay, it's because it's true. That's why. Are you happy now? Make you happy for me to say that out loud? Decline of third places. Yep. Correct. Nubble buckets. Thank you for the prime. What was I going to say? Wait, there was something I was going to say. I just played video games until my dad told me to go outside, and then I went outside and played video games on my Game Boy. Yeah. I've had to unironically ask so many men around me if they expect the love of their life to knock on their door. Yeah. Vastly disagree. There's tons of things to do at home without the internet. Like what? Because when I was a kid and I didn't have internet for some period of time, because there was a time where I didn't have computers in my house. I think we got our first home computer when I was like 9, maybe. There wasn't that much to do. At least maybe I was too poor to have things to do. That's possible. Wait, no. Oh, League of Legends. No, I don't want to get too stumped. Okay, let's stay on topic. So yeah, you were kind of like, I remember as soon as sorry, I got super distracted. Apologies. I'm focused now. My above message is in reference to Asmongold's video that you're about to watch. I hate Asmon saying videos. Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Maybe we'll read this in a second. I was a big reader, arts and craft kid. I loved TV. Oh, we did have TV. Yeah, that's true. But I felt like TV was like, you know that one scene in Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy goes back in the past to stop his dad from winning a race or something? And he tells, it's like, we're going to say scary stories all night. And he's like, the first scary story he says is, in the future, there will be 1,000 channels and nothing to watch. And isn't that the truth, man? Isn't that the truth of cable TV? But, okay, sorry. Those are different episodes? What? No, those are the same episode. I remember that, yeah. Back in the day, it was going to a friend's house and playing PlayStation, yeah. Okay, enough. Stop. Stay focused. Okay, I'm not gonna look at chat so I can focus on what I'm saying. Think. Someone in chat said it earlier, but yes, this thought started from someone saying it's not feminism's fault. It's like men's fault for not, I guess, like developing in a world that has feminism, right? Because women can pick and choose who they want to be with because they can get jobs now, and you aren't automatically owed a wife just because you have a job. And so now you have to actually be someone. And so it feels like you're losing something when you see the generations before you. They got married easily. They got in relationships easily. Also, the economy was better because capitalism wasn't as fucked. They had work, whereas now it's like people don't have any money. People are living paycheck to paycheck, living with their parents because rent is too expensive. And to make things worse, you don't have your government mandated girlfriend anymore because you don't have to, because women don't have to stay in relationships they don't want to be in anymore. When you're used to privilege and entitlement, equality feels like oppression. Yes. So on that topic, thanks, Obama. Think. But chat is so addicting to read. No, focus. ADD today is like crazy. Oh, I remember. I feel like when I was a kid, when I was a youngin', and probably the generation before me even more so, when you don't have the internet at home and you don't have all this tech and you don't have video games and like you have to go outside if you want to talk to anyone. There is nothing that will simulate human interaction at home. Whereas nowadays, you can just go on Discord and have human interaction. Because people, they, naturally, innately in you is the need for human interaction. Like there's a drive in you. I don't know who put it there, but there's a drive in you that like needs human interaction. Now we kind of cheat by having Discord and having video games and having Twitter and having Twitch and all that other stuff, right? People used to have pen pals and shit, but that was basically it. Yeah. And so when you wanted human interaction, you had to go outside. And when you're going outside in your formative years, you can take loss a lot easier. And people don't get mad at you for trying. Like maybe other kids will, but like society expects you to fail as a kid a lot because you don't know anything about the world. You're a fucking stupid ass kid. And so when you go and you talk to someone and you say something rude and your teacher's like, hey, sharing is caring, you end up learning a bunch of social lessons and you end up learning emotional intelligence, and you have to force yourself to be put in these situations to learn them. The number, like I would not have the emotional intelligence I have now if I made no friends growing up. I got bullied a lot, but I also made friends at least. This is called being well adjusted. Yeah, I was an awful kid. I was like, not for my parents. For my parents, I was a great kid because I just like, I did all my homework. I got straight A's. I got hundreds on all of my tests. And I didn't really do any, I was like a good kid. But in terms of making friends, I was annoying. I was so annoying. I just like felt like the world, like I was right and everyone else was wrong. I felt like Tim Pool when I was growing up. And it was like, no, it has to be my way. No, there's only a right or wrong thing. And then growing up and you have friends and then you make mistakes and you learn from those mistakes and you're like, that didn't change. What happened to your beanie? I grew some hair. But like my brain as a kid, I couldn't wrap my head around the idea that like there was required reading, but I already read that book. And so I didn't want to read it again. So I'm like telling the teacher, but I already read this book. We should read a different book. And it's like, the world isn't about you. You have to make space for other people. There are other people that exist. 6-year-old Denim. God, you were that kid? Yes, I was annoying. I was very annoying. And I was very competitive, which is not a good combination. And then you learn about like the fact that just because someone else is upset at you, it doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. Some things aren't black and white. Some things aren't right or wrong. Like you could have good intentions and someone else can still get hurt. Oh, hi, Oxy. And knowing that and being able to make space for other people that way, it is a hard lesson to learn, but when you learn it, it stays in your brain. Also, yeah, kids' brains are literally too underdeveloped to consider broader context than their own experiences. Yeah, of course. They're kids. I hit silver and then I deranked. No! But hey, you hit silver. What was I trying to say? Yeah, and then I think you so there's two things that happen. I think one of the important ones is that you learn that like just because you did something wrong or just because you did something that made someone else upset, it doesn't mean that you're like a bad person. It doesn't mean that you were trying to do that. It doesn't have to mean any of those things. Like intent and remorse shown has a lot to do with it. Yeah. Like, and it's okay. It's okay. You can just learn those lessons bit by bit by bit as a kid. And the second thing is you get a lot of rejection very early and it gets you comfortable with getting rejected. The number of times that I tried to make friends and I got rejected, it hardens you a little. Like it makes you realize it's not anything personal. People Just like I get to pick who I want to be friends with, other people get to pick who they want to be friends with. And it doesn't, I am not owed anything here. I'm not owed someone else's attention or love or friendship. I have to earn it, just like everybody else has to earn it from me. And when you get more comfortable with rejection, it becomes a lot easier to continue to get rejected, because chances are, I mean, and here, like, think about it for 2 seconds. How many people have you met that you have wanted to be friends with? Like, good friends with? I would bargain probably less than 10%. Probably less than 5% of the people you run into, you actually want to be friends with. One, your mom. Okay, man. Like, I just don't. She needs some friends, so I appreciate it. Like a dozen people total. Think about all of the people you've run into and you're like, God, that person is so annoying. Or like, God, this person is so boring. Or like, this person doesn't have any of the same hobbies. Or we just don't get along. Or like, we have different personalities or whatever. Like, oh, they're such a Debbie Downer or whatever. You have a million reasons on why you won't want to be friends with someone. It's like, why does no one like me? Meanwhile, we like no one. Yeah. And just in the same way that you reject like 95% of the people you run into, you have to understand probably 95% of the people who run into you are going to reject you. But that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that person. Just some people click better than other people click, and that's just how it is. And all you can do is just try to be the best person that you can be. The best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. Hollow, thank you for the prime. So, on that topic, I swear I'm going somewhere with this. Naomi, stop. So, on that topic. I think a lot of people, Gen Z included, or like Gen Z maybe more specifically, that are growing up with internet and with lack of walkable cities. Like the internet exacerbated the problem that already existed, which is lack of walkable cities and lack of third places. And so when you're alienated from your community because getting to them is impossible, you have to walk like an hour to go anywhere. Lena Lux, thank you for the raid. Oh my God, how have you been? Hi. Welcome, raiders. Welcome. Also, some people will never be attracted to you no matter how hard you try, and others will gladly eat your ass like a cupcake. What's the phrase? The phrase is you can be the sweetest peach in the world, and there's still going to be someone that doesn't like peaches. Nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Some people just don't like peaches. And you can be the best version of yourself, but some people just don't want that. And that's okay. That's okay. Sweetest peaches still got a stone for a heart. Whoa. Divine, thank you for the gifts of Talana. Thank you. Well, then they're racist. Whoa. Okay. Basically, I think this next generation, and the further we go, the worse it'll get, is like a little emotionally stunted because they haven't gotten the experience of growing up and getting lots of rejection and getting lots of physical social interactions in person. And when you haven't experienced that, and you haven't experienced that level of like just reject, like I was getting, as a kid, I got rejected every day for years and years and years. Like every day, some stupid bullshit happened to me. But it molds you and it makes you grow and it helps you grow as a person. And it gives you a lot of life lessons and it shows you how to interact with the world. And when you don't have that, the first time you get rejected, it's going to feel so bad as an adult. Kind of like a vaccine. If you get a little bit of the virus, you build an immunity to it, it's not so bad when you actually do get it. But when you've never gotten it before, the first time it enters your system, it is going to fuck you up. Rejection is the exact same way. If you've experienced it a lot as a kid, it feels normal. But if you've never experienced it, the first time you experience it as an adult, it's going to feel really, really, really bad. Worse than it normally ever would. Rejections are viruses. Got it. If you want to deal with a rejection, get a sales job. Best do door-to-door sales. It will help you. It will help you so much. Now, of course, rejection is always going to hurt. It always will. It just gives you the tools to be able to deal with it. Kind of like social anxiety. You can't make the social anxiety in your brain go away, but you can, CBT, not cock and ball torture, the other one, learn how to deal with those thoughts. And you can learn, okay, there's no point in thinking about this. There's no point in making myself more anxious about thinking about it. There's nothing I can really do about it. So there's no point in thinking about it. So instead of me thinking about it and spiraling for 10 hours, I should think about the good things. Same sort of thing. When you get rejection, it's still going to hurt every time. But you now have the tools to deal with it, where you're like, they probably just like were in a bad mood, or you know what, maybe that person that I tried to give my number to, maybe they're already in a relationship, or maybe they were having a bad day. It's no big deal. Honestly, it was probably not related to me, because chances are it actually wasn't related to you at all. It wasn't. And so, to summarize, long ass fucking, I think a lot of men today have missed out, and women as well. But the dating marketplace is different for men and women. But I think a lot of men and women have missed out on a lot of the experiences as kids, and a lot of the negative experiences as kids that build an immunity for you and give you the tools to be able to work with those things. And I think obviously lack of infrastructure and the fact that people are so much poorer now and live paycheck to paycheck, and rent is expensive and food is expensive, and that you have your computer that you can escape to. You don't have the same tools in life that other people had. Whereas like if you were born in like the 60s or you were born in the 70s, you were sort of thrust in these situations, but you came out with like a toolkit that had like a hammer and a screwdriver and nails. I feel like growing up now, where your material conditions are getting worse, you are more isolated than any other generations has ever been. When you grow up, it's like your toolkit is missing like 4 or 5 important tools. You're like, I don't know what to do. I wasn't given tools on how to deal with life. What the fuck do I do? I just got an iPad and sat watching Baby Shark in the restaurant my entire formative years. My girlfriend teaches middle school. Everything you're saying is spot on. The kids have no ability to deal with adversity of any kind, and a lot of them have a lot of learned helplessness. Yeah, and it's just, there's a lot of reasons for it. But I mean, even teachers now are quitting more than they ever have, and their stated reason is because not because of pay, because pay has always been bad, but because kids have gotten so much worse, like unbearably bad. My notes for this summary lesson is go touch grass. Yeah. My wife teaches middle school as well. Dead on assessment. Yeah. If all you have is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Oh my God. Beautiful. Funny enough, that's exactly the reason my girlfriend is now quitting teaching middle school. Middle school is hard to teach. God bless her soul for ever doing it in the first place. Oh my God. Oh my God. So So, also, we all know that like technology makes you more radical because it recommends you stuff that's more radical because that's the stuff that gets the most traction. And when you don't have anything to counterbalance it, like real life experiences, it really fucks you up for life. If you've never had any female friends growing up as a kid and all you've watched is TikToks about how evil they are, you don't even have life balance, like you don't have any life experiences to balance out all the garbage you're seeing online. You just don't have it. Whereas normally you would have it and you'd be like, you know, like a good example, perfect example. I was kind of like, don't tell anyone, but I was kind of like a Reddit atheist for like a year. It was like, I was 18. Okay. Give me a break. And I actually had the opportunity to work for this. And by work, I mean like, it's like a family friend, and she worked at a church in her free time. She did it as like free labor. She was like retired, and she was like, I just want to spend my time doing stuff that makes me happy, and staying at home. I don't want to stay at home and just fucking watch TV all day. I'd rather go outside and do stuff. And so she worked at this small little community church, and they raised money, and all the money that they would raise would either go into like just upkeeping the church or towards people who needed the help, people who were financially struggling in some way or another. And basically they would have these cases where they would help people get off their feet. They would help them like land an interview. They'd help them build a resume. They'd help get them a suit and a tie, help get them a phone, help get them an address to send things to. They would help do all of this stuff for people who had just like, they didn't know where else to go. And so they went to the church. And this was like the sweetest woman on the planet, like genuinely the sweetest woman. Like I just know she was like a human angel. Okay. And that really changed my idea about religion, where I was like, you know, I feel very negatively about religion. However, clearly people are able to use religious institutions as a way of community building. And who am I to deny people this? Now, I'm not changing my mind on mega churches. Fuck that. The mega churches that are putting on fucking Broadway plays and the people in front of the mega church are making millions of dollars and have fucking yachts and they pay no taxes. No, that shit needs to stop. That shit immediately needs to stop. Or you can just build it without religion. Easier said than done. Because I also went through a cope phase like that. And I was like, why you can't do that? And then I realized that was also stupid. The institution's already there. You have to work with the institution. You can't just do it like France style where, oh, this housing is out of the way. Or like this housing is like in the way of our beautiful city. Let's just bulldoze it and make everyone homeless. This is like the 1800s, 1900s? Anyways, neither here nor there. Basically organized religion, like mass organized religion, bad. No. And the fact that they don't pay taxes, even though they're making fuck tons of money, bad. I also have a big problem with like churches and any religious institution, I guess like synagogues, mosques, etc., where there's like a leader figure who tells other people what to do. I just don't believe in that. I believe in religion as a very individual experience. And you and a bunch of other people go maybe to a local place. That's not what happened at a synagogue. You are correct. I was just like listing off all of them, but yeah. Secular religion, yes. And all of you, maybe you all believe in God, and that's why all of you are there. But there's no one there that tells you this is what you have to do. I believe in like spiritual leaders that are very like, just be the best person that you can be and do the things that make you happy and make the people around you happy. And one of my major gripes with religion is the fact that a lot of shitty people take those positions of power and they work as God's middleman so that they can spread their garbage dog shit ideology and use like religion as like a guise. That's just fucking dog shit. Dog shit. Because I understand the appeal of like a confessional. Yeah, that's basically just therapy, right? But just like, man. Anyways, moving on. How you solve that problem is very difficult. Why did I talk about this? Because I had a reason for talking about this. Yes, counterbalance. Basically, if I had never met that woman, I would still be a Reddit atheist today. Maybe. And I would still be like, I would be cringe. I am cringe, but like, I would be cringe in that way. But I had real life experiences interacting with real people and being like, you know, wow, okay, my preconceptions were wrong. I didn't realize that. Oh. And I think that's what's missing for a lot of people today. At the very least, on the topic of like Gen Z men don't like feminism or whatever. Yeah, if you're never really becoming friends with girls growing up and you're being promoted a bunch of garbage on TikTok because it makes the algorithm go burr and the company makes money, you're going to be more likely, you're just more likely to be like a sexist piece of shit. Right? Because you just haven't had those experiences. You just literally haven't had them. Being a weirdo incel doesn't attract women? What? And it's sort of like the same reason why a lot of people have said that like they changed their mind on the Palestine-Israel conflict when they saw videos of like real Palestinian people just talking about their experiences. And they were like, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to hate these people and think they should be annihilated. And these people are just trying to feed their families. They're like digging through rubble to save a couple cats. These are the monsters I'm supposed to hate, and the terrorists. I can't believe this. I have experiences here that show me that that's not true. Same thing. We are going to finish that Asmongold video, I swear. Having friends who were girls is what made me entirely skip the Gamergate alt-right pipeline. Immediately saw anti-feminism as a bunch of weirdos that never had met a woman. Being able to know some people in the camp you oppose will always be a good thing. You got to challenge your preconceptions. Yeah, exactly. 100%. 1,000,000%. No, these are the children of darkness. It's like, no, dude, they're not children of darkness. They're just like kids, man. They're just kids that like lost their home. God forbid their limbs. God forbid their parents. Like, you're not going to sell me on this bullshit narrative. These are not children of darkness. These are just children that are living in darkness because of Israel. Like, anywho, moving on. Yeah, all of that was just to say, all of that preamble was to say, you know what I've noticed in real life? Older dudes will straight up walk up to me and say the craziest shit on the planet, but it is very rare that I ever have someone who is a younger dude walk up to me in the street. Like, I have had like dudes who are like 47 and they're like, wow, you're so beautiful. Like, can I take you on a date? And I'm like, oh, I'm good, thank you. And they're like, wow, like, would you want to get married? I'm like, I don't know you. No, I'm good. I'm good, thank you. Wow, I just have a great day. It's like, you have so much bravery. You have so much bravery. What? Jesus. They be so forward? Yeah, and it's because they have experienced so much rejection. One more rejection on that pile is nothing for them. In their head, they're like, worst I can get is a no. Worst I can get is a no. Whereas if you're like 20 something You've experienced no rejection. Your classes have been online. You've had no female friends. You don't have any third places or spaces. You're on TikTok all the time. Not that TikTok inherently is bad or because it's China or whatever, but just because algorithms in general are made to promote divisive content, and TikTok is currently the largest platform for that right now, which is why I'm using TikTok. Not because China, but you're on TikTok all day. And you just haven't experienced those things. So like the idea of getting rejected once is terrifying. The idea of walking up to someone and being like, hey, you know, like, I just wanted to say I saw you from across the cafe, and if you're interested in going on a date, here's my number. No problem if not. Just have a good day. The idea of doing that is like, it's so scary for some people, which I have social anxiety. I understand. I get it. Okay. The number of times where I've wanted to do that and I'm like, oh, that barista, she's so cute. Okay, I'm just gonna compliment her. Can I have a hot cocoa? Thanks. No.
South Korea, where it was like a huge difference.
No. Fuck. Fuck. Again. It happened to me again. Shit. So, I get it. I do. Okay. I get it. I understand. I spit out my hot cocoa when you said that, yeah. What do you think of American companies using PTO rather than vacation? Ugh. I could go on a fucking tangent on that. I want to finish this video. Also, when you get older, it means you give less fucks too. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. I feel like a burden if I ask people out. I even unmatch with people on dating apps because I feel like I'm doing psychotic damage and I'm not ready or able to be a good romantic partner. Spending 17 to 21 hours through lockdown has really fucked me up. Yeah, but like, here's the thing. You're never going to learn until you do, right? It's fucked up, right? But you have to do it, and you have to accept that you're going to be cringe, and it's on the path to not being cringe anymore. Okay. Let's finish the tangent, shall we? In my opinion, the reason why this chart looks the way that it does is because there's a lot of young people today that have missed out on the ability to form these meaningful connections when they were younger. And so now it's a lot easier for them to blame feminism for their problems. Because they were fucked over by society and they were not given the right tools to manage their emotions. They were fucking robbed. A lot of people have been robbed in the US out of like learning emotional intelligence, which is just so fucked up because online dating is not the same as real dating. It's just not. And it will make you feel like shit, okay? When in reality, a little bit of riz, a little bit of charisma in the real world will take you so far. You're just words on a page. Yeah. I will say though, if you insist on using dating apps, take my advice really quickly. Make an account as a woman. Don't like upload any pictures or whatever. Just make an account as a woman. Or do you have to upload pictures? You might not. Post some like a picture of a frog or something. And set it to like being straight or whatever. And swipe through and check out the competition. Okay? Here's my best advice. Make your profile. Let me start over. Make your profile picture. Like set up your profile. And post your pictures. Write your bio. Whatever. Set it aside. Make a second profile of like a woman. Don't actually match with anyone. Just make it. And then do some market research. And then see, which you will see, your profile looks the same as 98% of the other men on your profile or on your app. No one is going to swipe on the millionth dude that they see that says, I like to go outside and just looking for my other half. And it's like a blurry photo. Yeah, you and literally everyone else on this app. Post something that makes people want to message you. And just do it by stealing. Guys, stealing is good. Okay? Stealing is good. If you see someone that has a really sick bio, just like, change it up a little bit. Like you're copying someone's homework. Just change it up a little bit. Or get some ideas even. Get some fucking ideas. And the best advice I would give is, you know how like, at least with Bumble, I have never had Tinder, so I don't know. But with Bumble, good artists borrow, great artists steal. Riz, that's an art, yeah. With Bumble, they ask you like questions. It's like, where would you like to go on a first date? Like, red flag is, and the answers are so boring. It's like, my red flag is when women lie or something. It's stupid. Make it something interesting. Make it something funny. Like, my red flag is when people pour the milk before the cereal. Just an example. Don't actually answer the question like it's an interview. Answer the question without answering the question. Don't actually answer the question. The questions and the statements there are an opportunity to write something stupid. That's the goal. The goal is to get let me see. Hold up. Oh, it removed all of the people that I was like matched with because I didn't respond to them. Like, this one was funny. This one was so funny, it made me swipe. It says, my opening move. Like, the prompt is, my opening move, and the answer was, do I have to? Followed by, I guarantee you that, yes. Like, fuck this. I don't feel like answering these questions. This one just says, a review by a friend. And it's just the star emoji 5 times. Like, it's just stupid. It's just like dumb. Or like, let me see. There was another one that was really good, but oh, does it still show them? Older chats. It does. This one was good. A pro and con of dating me. Pro, I'm a lawyer. Con, I'm a lawyer. I thought I was stupid, but I also thought it was funny enough. I didn't end up responding to that message. But that's because I stopped looking at the app and my phone didn't notify me and I don't want to talk about it. Oh, I think I accidentally swiped on this one. That's not a good profile picture. Or not picture, profile. This one was okay. My opening move. Dream cartoon blunt rotation. Okay. 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 So anyways, that's all. That's all I'm trying to say, guys. Okay? Don't actually answer the questions. whatever your first response to the question is, don't write that down. Don't write that down. What are your prompt answers? Let me see. I don't remember what I wrote. It's not great. My profile is not great, okay? I just want you guys to know. It's just an okay profile. It says, looking for a person who knows what Homestuck is, but hated being a Homestuck kid. I'll settle for someone who can win those rigged plushy claw machines, though. And then I wrote, I picked the prompt, what holds my attention? And I wrote Subway Surfer Slime Family Guy Clips Temple Run compilation. And then the other answers are mediocre. Like the other answers was like, just, the quickest way to my heart is teaching me how to cook a steak like I really need to learn how to do one. Like, just, it doesn't matter. Don't actually like answer, like the quickest way to my heart. The honest, authentic answer to that would be like, being interesting and funny. And funny is like optional. Like I want to, if the first time I hang out with someone, I don't feel like I learned anything new, I don't want to hang out with you again. And by anything new, I mean like anything. Like, oh, I work in architecture and like you can actually put these two pieces of wood together like this and it makes it more stable. And like, that's why it does that. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Or like, oh yeah, like I do software engineering, and with software engineering, you know, there's like this new tech that's coming out that lets you do blah, 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 blah. Oh, I didn't know that. Cool. I just don't want to hang out with someone who's like, yeah, I like to go to the park. Yeah, I like sports. I would have a more interesting conversation with a brick wall. Like, please. Please. So, you like cigarettes? Or anyways, just some advice. I don't recommend using dating apps, but if you insist on doing one, if you insist on making a dating app, don't actually answer the question. Whatever answer immediately comes to your brain, pick something else. I'll even give you guys the one that I cheat with. Again, I don't know what it's like for other things or whatever, but like Bumble makes you pick like a question that gets asked at the beginning of a conversation. And a lot of them are fucking dog shit. The opening move ones, it's like, what TV show would you be a main character in? What's your karaoke song? What's the most iconic first date idea you can think of? Boring. I have something very simple. Enjoying pineapple on pizza. Green flag or red flag, ? It's something that people would have fun responding to. It's something that's easy to respond to. You don't have to be like, oh, what movies have I seen? Well, let's see. I watched Parasite recently. Pick something easy. Something easy. Everyone uses that. I did not run into a single person that used it. I did not run into a single person. I'm just going to say it. Make it an easy question. That's all I'm going to say. Make it like a yes or no, or make it something in between two. Like, don't give someone a fucking vague question. Nobody wants to respond to a vague question that they have to fucking do work to think. Nobody wants to do that. Come on. We have been stunlocked. Okay, we're done being stunlocked. We're done. All right, let's go. So I sometimes go with, is hot dog a sandwich? Sure. Yeah. What is your opinion on pineapple pizza? I like grilled pineapple on pizza. If it's just like wet, soggy pineapple, ew. But when it's grilled, It's got a little bit of char on it, just a little. Then it's good. Mmm, tasty. Okay, we're done. Let's go. We're watching this video. We're 21 seconds in. We're making great progress. My girlfriend told me she swiped right on me because I had a bunch of funny and goofy ass pictures and gifs of myself doing dumb shit. Yes.
And like, you know, in the UK and all that, yeah.
Are becoming more conservative.
This is true.
Now, this is nothing new. It was shown that this was happening in America before, and it's happening across the West. And for me, it's incredibly fucking obvious why this is happening. Because feminism and the left in the present day do absolutely nothing to support men. They do the opposite. They demonize, they stigmatize, and they ignore their problems. Why would young men be drawn to an ideology that on the surface at least comes across like it hates men for being men?
Well, the
So
problem in
like,
this,
here's the problem for me. Can I get a source? Who is he talking? Like, what is he talking about? Like, who? Like, the king of feminism, the queen of feminism was like, I hereby decry that we shall villainize men forever. What are you like? Who? Like, did you find like one annoying feminist on Reddit or on Twitter and you built your whole personality around that dipshit? That's stupid. You realize that's fucking stupid. Andrea Dworkin, yeah, and anyone with any self-respect knows that she's an idiot. At the very least, a lot of the shit, she gives me big Freud vibes where a lot of the shit she wrote was just garbage. Some of the stuff she wrote was fine, but like a lot of it was just like not good. At the very least in terms of like presentation. But guess what? Andrea Dworkin is one of hundreds of feminists that have written literature on feminists. But guess what? You only know the one, like not you specifically, just like the people who mention her or describe her or whatever. What about all of the hundreds of feminists that have literature on how feminism is good for men and women? We're just going to ignore all of those people because that's not what feminism is. It's this one random lady that I decided that she is now the CEO of feminism. What? That's stupid. That's dumb. You realize that, right? That's just dumb. So I would love for one of these dudes to like give me a source on this. Like, please, God.
this is what I was saying before about how like people that are parasites infect things like feminism and then they use it for like their own personal gain. Like they're
Wrong. It's that there are people who use labels incorrectly and then other people decide that's what that label actually is. Just like for people who are actually centrists, Tim Pool gives centrism a bad name. Now, centrism, in my opinion, gives itself a bad name. But for people who are actually centrists, they see Tim Pool calling himself a centrist and they're like, dude, that guy's a fucking conservative. Huh? That's not the fault of like feminism. That's not the fault of like a feminist. That's the fault of the reader who is incapable of recognizing that this is one versus thousands of people who disagree.
are things in place.
Yeah, attacking a straw man of what feminism is when really you're just mad at rad libs. Yeah.
Where like women do have disadvantages and women have legitimate problems. But whenever you have like women who just actually hate men
Like
that are like,
who?
yeah, I'm a feminist and I hate men, this makes all feminists sound crazy. They
Like
want
who?
control. Yeah, exactly. And so this is a huge issue. And this is what I was saying before about how like one of the big problems with like these spaces like feminism and like
Name a woman. Name a woman. Name a woman. For $1, name a woman. Can you show me this woman that hates men and is a staunch feminist? Please. Please.
gaming
I
circle
think
jerk.
he's talking about Anita Sarkeesian. At no point did Anita Sarkeesian say, like, all men are evil. She said there is a sexism problem, which was accurate. and still is accurate, and said games are made to pander to male audiences, which is also accurate. That's why the men dress in combat gear and the women are wearing bikinis. That's quite literally marketing and pandering. That's not like, it is not a far stretched idea to make that claim. It's also a neutral statement inherently. It's a descriptive statement. That's it. It's just, hey, these games are made to appeal to men. In the same way that products are pink to appeal to women. It's just, that's just how marketing works. It's literally just marketing. That's why kids' stuff is really colorful. It's just marketing.
Because also another really great example, like we just got done talking about that, is that the problem that these people have is that they are unable to...
Apparently some people think female rappers singing stuff like WAP represents feminists, but the thing is, it's like, first of all, it doesn't, obviously, but there nowhere in WAP does it say like men suck. Nowhere in there it says like boys drool, girls rule. Like that's not in there. It's just like, I mean, I guess she says that men should be sucking on some pussy, I guess. That's as far as I think that she, like, you know, like this is just like, hey, I like to have sex with men. Like, how does this, what? Oh, we were on a mild sunlock about how South Korea's like sexism stuff is really bad. There was one clip in here that was like pretty embarrassing. Where is it?
Ruling People Power Party and supports President Yoon's views on feminism. Do you want to get rid of the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family in South Korea?
그렇습니다. 저는
Yes, I want to abolish the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family.
대표적인 폐지론자인데 그리고 이제
I think that the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family is responsible for South Korea becoming the country with the world's lowest birth rate.
저출산 국가가 된 것도 여성가족부 영향이 좀 크다고 생각합니다.
Do you agree that some of the policies your party has put forth aligns with what anti-feminists want in South Korea?
When you say you're against feminism in Korea, it doesn't mean that you're advocating for sexism. It means you're against giving privilege to one gender over another. Feminists in Korea are reverse discriminators. So of course I'm against that.
How do you think South Korea fits into the global discussion about gender equality?
예를 들어 이란이나 최근에 아프가니스탄
If you look at the case of Iran or more recently Afghanistan,
여성을 학대를 하고
women are being mistreated, and I think we should be more concerned about societies like that.
대해서 우리가 좀 더 관심을 많이 가져야 됩니다.
When there's a lot of discrimination against women. Listen, I'll take a little discrimination against women. I'll draw the line at a lot. Come up with some new material, man. We have been parroting this whole, like, women are trying to do reverse discrimination for, like, 5 decades now, at least. And we've been doing the whole, you should stop complaining. Women in those brown countries have it real bad. Can we please, some new material? Just some new material, please, please, please. Oh, thank you, Twin Peakies.
The women aren't privileged in South Korea, something that activist Park Ji-hyun is reminded of every day.
No problem, Ryan. Looking at the situation in South Korean politics, I feel like we're going backwards. Even if we look at the current government, most of them are men. In South Korea, only 19% of the National Assembly members are women.
As a student journalist in 2019, Park
So
helped
Punk Rock, thank you for the Prime. Thank you. And then she just talks about, I believe, like harassment and stuff. And then this guy's such a piece of
spaces where
shit.
women get harassed unfairly.
It's certainly possible. But as a leader of this group, anti-feminists, over the years, I've sort of developed a motto. Let's make a world where a feminist isn't forced to choose feminism. What the fuck does that mean? No, Reggie, we were making fun of Hassan haters. The reason why those people chose feminism is because they think that women are being harmed as a whole. What I want to convey to them is that it's not really necessary.
In this conversation.
Me as a man, let me tell you that your issues as a woman, you don't have to fight for anything. It's not necessary. There's no issues. It's not necessary. Source, I made it up.
It sounds like you are an anti-feminist.
I'm not anti-feminist at all. An anti-feminist would have no qualms about insulting women. What we're saying is that women should be protected. As a man, I live to protect the woman I love.
Do you consider yourself a hero?
At best, I'm the kind of guy who can create heroes.
So one day in the future, you might be a hero.
Maybe one day.
언젠가는요.
There was a scene earlier where, like, it was this one.
증거는 될 수 없지만 저한테는 있었던 사실이에요.
The allegations implicated politicians and priests. Actors and artists were named and shamed.
It looks like this is about the Me Too movement in Korea. It's like a theater director.
But as the allegations grew, so did resentment among some men.
이것도 페미니스트 분들이
This shows that feminists are obsessed with the penis.
좀 집착을 하는 부분이 있다. 저는 얘네들의 발악원력
I'm scared of their ability to get attention.
정말 무소불위에 걸려.
They hold absolute power. I think if masculinity keeps disappearing, many more rape crimes will happen.
And works as a manager at a pet food company. At the height of the Me Too movement, he joined a group that opposes feminism. They call it gender harmony.
사실 그 당시에는 페미니즘이
Back then, feminism had become really popular, but its growing popularity caused an exponential increase
뭐 조롱
in acts of ridicule and mockery directed towards men.
그래서 남성
This enraged men, and they started to distance themselves from women. I couldn't just sit and let this situation go on.
How are they being humiliated by women?
뭐 고추가
They'd say something like, "You have a 1-inch dick,"
거기에다가 남성들은
or that all men are potential rapists,
남성들은
that they're completely useless.
What do you think the consequence?
Can the snowflake? Oh my God. Oh my God. See, if you're normal and you hear a woman say all men are potential rapists or all men are rapists or whatever, guess what? You're like, you're a fucking moron. Opinion discarded. If you take personal offense to that, you're just being weird. If someone makes fun of you and says, you have a 1-inch penis, and that drives you to become an anti-feminist, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do. This feminism stuff has gotten too far because women are insulting men. Unbelievable. Hello?
Consequences of the Me Too movement were in South Korea.
네, 남성들이 여성을
Men no
믿지
longer
않게
trust
했습니다.
women.
그래서
Any man could be at risk of being accused by Me Too. If you saw a woman wearing high heels fall down the stairs in front of you, you would avoid touching her. And you would avoid helping her. You'd leave because touching her would be a risk.
And you mentioned false rape accusations. I mean, do you think that's a significant amount?
I'd say yes, many are false, especially compared with other countries.
Okay, we've seen data, though, from the Supreme Prosecutor's Office that less than 1% of rape cases in South Korea are false.
False rape accusations are less than 1%, you say? You often find yourself in a situation where the victim's testimony is the one and only proof that is being brought forward. I do think that some of those people might be unfairly accused.
Hyunjin and his group have plenty.
Now, I know you said this data suggests that less than 1% of rape allegations are false. But did you consider that I disagree? Did you consider that I disagree? They don't even need to provide proof. Everybody knows that. You just go to the court and say, that guy raped me. And then they sentence him to prison for 2 decades. My source. Oh, I made it up. Yeah. No, I made it up. No, I don't have any evidence to suggest. No. I don't know anything about the court system and prosecution of rapists. No. Why do you ask? We forgot to consider the nuh-uh defense. How courts work. You go to court and the person says, yeah, they did it. And then the judge slams his hammer and then locks up men for life. Real. Also, hi, Maddie. Also, people are convicted for actual rape cases. So why would they do that? Yeah. It's like nobody is saying that like false rape accusations don't exist. Of course they exist. Of course. It's just, it is such a small percent that it doesn't make sense to disparage the entirety of the Me Too movement when instead you could be spending your time saying, how do we figure out how to have better systems in place to prevent false rape accusations? Do we need to make the punishment for false rape accusations more brutal? Because 1% is still too high. And I would like to sit down and really try our best to reduce that number as much as possible because I don't want good, innocent people getting hurt. That's not what they're saying. Because if they said that, I'd be like, hey, yeah, that's pretty based, actually. Yeah. No, that's absolutely based. You should petition for yourself and you should fight for your rights. And if you think that this is an issue that you're dealing with or you know someone who got falsely accused of something, yeah, fight for that. That's not a feminism problem, you dipshit. That's literally not. Literally not. Don't know what to say about that.
To regulate their own extremism. So you
anyways,
have
yeah, South
people
Korea's
and
real
they're
bad.
unable to self-regulate and have a consistent ideology. And the ideology always gets co-opted by somebody who is more and more and more extreme. It's easier to take over an existing platform, build one from scratch. I mean, I think that this is, it's true, but also it gives them a certain level of credibility. How many women directed genocide throughout history? How many men? Well, pretty much all men. I mean, like, and again, it's not about like, a lot of guys, you think about it like this. If you're a Gen Z guy, if you're a Zoomer guy, you are 22 years old. You don't want people to hold you responsible for what a guy did 100 years ago. Nobody that was around then is even alive anymore in a lot of these cases. Like everybody that was involved with this is dead, but people are still getting mad at you and holding this against you. What the fuck?
Asmon, sweetie, girly pop, what is you talking about? What? Sweetie Pie, what are you saying? Who is being held accountable for crimes hundreds of years ago? Who, can you tell me? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't understand what he's talking about. He's speaking in like these very broad strokes and like abstracts. It's giving, we shouldn't give reparations because I, as a white person, haven't done anything wrong. I just don't understand. Like, can you give me just one source? Just one source.
Fuck is this? Nobody wants to be born with original sin. Okay, like they wrote a whole book about it. So the truth is,
I'm pretty sure Asmon means socially held accountable. Well, tell me more. What do you mean by that? He's probably talking about how these systems are not made by modern dudes. Of course, I agree with that. Yeah. But I'm saying, how are men being punished by systems that they didn't make? Like, that's where that's a bold claim to make.
that's what
The important thing to note here, guys, is that if the people who hate something can't find a clip or a video or something to make fun of before they go on their tirade, they don't have anything. Here's a question. If Fox News got footage or got confirmation of a trans woman assaulting cis women in bathrooms, do you think that they would A, not share that story, or B, do nothing but share that story for the next 2 weeks? The fact that I don't see it on the news is evidence enough that it doesn't seem like it's a problem. Because if it happened, it would be all over Fox day in and day out, everywhere. In the same vein, if you see someone making a TikTok and they aren't immediately playing a video of an idiot in the beginning of the video, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. B, they talked about that trans swimmer for weeks.
why people are unhappy about this stuff. And also, I think that guys probably, like, for example, I think OnlyFans definitely, and like the advent of things like OnlyFans definitely like kind of blackpilled a lot of guys. Whenever it's like, you know, you're a 19-year-old guy and you can barely get by, but like your 19-year-old, you know, friend that's a girl is able to make like $8,000 a month on OnlyFans just because she's attractive.
No, Asmon, you're not this dumb. You're not. You're not. You aren't. You're No. No. Oh, come on. Just take it back. Just take it. He's gonna take it back right now.
I think that really bothers a lot of guys because it is unfair. Now,
wait.
In my opinion, I don't really think that's a big deal because that's just the way that life is. And men.
So anyone who's confused why I'm reacting this way, two things. A, he's been going wild with takes like these on. Dude, I would debate the shit out of Asmon. I'm not a debate pervert, but I would debate the shit out of him. Oh my God. I would fucking destroy him. On this topic, at the very least, Christ, the desire is so powerful. If you see this, Asmon, take me up on the offer. You won't. Do it, bitch. More importantly, dude, you're smart enough. If you do see this clip, if anyone does show him this, you're smart enough to not be making such a stupid argument. How is it that during the entirety of like the discourse about whether or not streaming is difficult, you had the understanding to be like, no, actually streaming is very exhausting. At the very least, it's very socially draining. You know, it looks very easy. And when you're looking in from the outside in, it looks so easy. It's like you're just sitting at your computer playing video games. But any streamer who actually streams for a lot of time knows that it's actually very exhausting. And like having to, and again, I'm not saying, and nobody is saying that it's the hardest job on the planet. Nobody's saying that. Nobody has said that. Literally no one. People are saying that when they pick up the job and they start doing it as a career, they realize, oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff here that I didn't know was here. I didn't realize that it was so socially draining and that you don't want to talk to anyone afterward. And it actually takes a lot of hours and it takes a lot of time to make it. And the streamers that are successful make it look really easy, but it's actually really exhausting. Fuck. How can you be smart enough to make that argument, but too stupid to realize that your ignorance on OnlyFans is exactly the same as other people's ignorance on streaming? You've never done OnlyFans. You've never posted pictures of your butthole. To be fair, I haven't either, so I don't know how hard it is to post pictures of your butthole, but you can't judge how difficult it is and how easy it is and whether or not you can just make money by being hot when you haven't done it. You can't judge it. You literally can't. And so, the first point I'm going to make is I implore anyone who parrots this whatever the fucking word I'm looking for is, anyone who parrots this bullshit that like you just need to be hot and you'll make $8,000 a month. I implore you to try it. Make an upload schedule. Write down how much you're going to post, how often you're going to post, okay? And then try and do it. And tell me how easy it is after. Please, I implore you to just try it. I'm not even saying that you have to post it or make money. Forget about the money. I'm just saying stick to the schedule for a month and then tell me if it's easy still. And that you just need to be hot. Please, 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 please. Okay? And the reason I say this is because I know that it's not. And it looks so easy. It looks so easy. But guess what? It's not. There's woman on YouTube. She does like, she dresses up as like a Victorian lady, and she did like an OnlyFans thing where she showed like scandalous here, just found it. I don't know how I would describe her channel, but she just dresses up as Victorian era lady. And she thought it'd be a fun little thing to do an OnlyFans, but for like saucy Victorian ankle photos. Ooh, so scandalous. And in the video, which I implore all of you to watch, it's great. She actually talks about how, here we go, this is a good one. Oh yeah, the sound is a drone. Is her taking photos with a drone.
Success. I've just reviewed the footage. We've got it. This might be one of the more ridiculous things I think I've ever done for this channel. It's done. The not so good news.
Okay, here we go.
So the good news is we've got 3 of our photo shoots done. The not so good news is it's 6 o'clock now. Somehow those 3 photo shoots have taken me all day. We no longer have really good photo shoot lighting. And we certainly won't by the time I finish the next 2, let alone 4, so I'm going to have to finish the rest of these shoots tomorrow. Which is fine because at least I had the foresight to take care of the shoot that is the most immediately following. We can still go live with this tomorrow. Oh my god. OnlyFans work is indeed quite a surprising amount of work and very time consuming. My goodness, I completely understand why people make this their full-time job. I say, having made YouTube a full-time job, yes, I very much understand how a form of online content distribution can very much consume one's entire full-time existence. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. We must inevitably have a little chat about this whole concept of Victorian.
She goes on to talk about how like how much time she did not expect. Here.
I use boaters, so if with these that I want to play all of now is I cannot believe it took me a solid 2.5 solid full-time days to generate 14 images. Oh my god. So I did manage to set this to be free. That seems promising. It seems like people will just be able to follow, but it seems like people are then able to tip posts as well as request specific content paid. I actually don't really know how OnlyFans works. We are about to find out, but it seems
So yeah, and then she just keeps going, and then she talks about like launching it, and then blah blah blah, and then okay, and then this one.
$8, which is extraordinary. Wow. This was definitely an interesting experiment. It's definitely not something personally I would continue. It was definitely a lot more work than I expected. Not that I was expecting it not to be a lot of work, because you know, I understand very much how putting out regular content online, especially if you do so for a living, can occupy a very large amount of your time, and especially if you're trying to put actual effort into it and doing it very well, because that is your source of income. Like, I totally, completely get that. So I'm literally just going into the back end to shut down this page, and I persists. You're a red tomfoolery, great time, or thirst traps.
Okay. I implore you all to watch the video because it's a great breakdown on how like that shit takes way longer than you would think. As someone who does photography, it takes you like an entire day to do maybe 15 to 20 edits. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so like, just think about it. Let's say you're trying to plan content for like a month, right? And you're trying to get like daily uploads. You know what? Every other day uploads. That's tens of hours that go into ideas and like what you're going to cosplay or what you're going to dress up as, because you're not going to do the same exact photo every single time. That's time spent. People who I know who do OnlyFans for full-time work, they literally go through different subreddits to get ideas of poses and to get ideas of what to cosplay and to get ideas of new things that they can do, because it's going to get stale. You can't just do the same thing again and again and again and again and again. It's going to stop generating revenue and it's going to start falling off. And these people sit down, my friend, I guess, like if anyone wants to go into that field, she told me that she literally scrolls through the hentai subreddit to try and find interesting new stuff to do. Because she's just done so much and she's been doing it for so long, it's hard for her to come up with new content and new poses and interesting ideas. And so she's sitting there doing that. So hours of just brainstorming, hours of building, hours of buying, then tens and tens of hours of photo taking. Most of the photos you take are not going to be good. And then tens of hours of editing. And the worst part is it is physically exhausting because you're being beamed at by these really bright lights and you're doing a lot of moving and a lot of contorting and you have to hold the pose for like a long period of time. And studios are fucking hot a lot of the time as well. There's no fucking AC in a lot of these places. And so, yeah, there's the most important part of that, right? Which is that it's actually a lot of work. Okay? Way more than you would think. And this is coming from personal experience because I was like, this will be easy. And then I like did it for a month and I was like, this is so hard. This is so much work. And that's not even talking about making sure to message and reply to people. And the thing is, when you're starting out, you don't have the money to afford to get a photographer. You don't have the money to afford to get someone to do your lighting for you, or to do your makeup for you, or to do your hair for you, or to do your idea planning. Or you don't have the money to pay someone to do all of your messaging. And that's like, you still don't even know how to do those things. Like lighting and camera, like the technology on those alone, learning how to do that takes like a year. And that's if you're trying. And anyone who's into photography here, you know what I'm saying is facts. Anyone here who's even dabbled in photography, you know how hard it is to like sit down and be like, what the fuck makes a camera good? What the fuck is an ISO? What do you mean I have to get special lights? And there's different types of lights. And there's this type of lighting and this type of lighting. And oh my God. Most people still won't even know anything after a year of photography. And then there's also the challenge of finding a photographer you can trust to take those type of intimate photos with. And then there's the fact that the equipment is expensive. Good equipment is expensive. And here's the worst part. The worst part is income breakdown, OnlyFans. I will find the subscriptions. Let's see. It says here the top 1% in the platform earn 33% of the total gross merchandise, while the top 10% earn 73% of it. And let me see, they have a breakdown on like, you are like top 1%, top 5% or whatever. And I'm trying to find if I can see like how much like those people. So remember that, remember the top 10%, the top 10% earners on OnlyFans are making 3/4 of all the money that is being brought in. Because content creation always has very top heavy revenue. And guess what? You know how much the top 10% are making? What do the top 10% make? The top 10% OnlyFans content creators earn around $1,000 a month. The top 1% of OnlyFans creators generate $6,000 a month. So you can put in tens and tens and tens of hours into this thing that might make you no money at all, because if you don't have a following online prior to getting into it, you won't make any fucking money. It's just like Twitch. It's just like YouTube. Oh, and then also, yeah, OnlyFans takes 20% of all of your money. They just take a flat 20% of all of your revenue. And most of the people who are successful, they are only successful because they had a platform beforehand. Amaranth is only successful on OnlyFans, not because she has big boobs or because she's pretty. Both of those things can be true. She makes that money because she was already a very successful streamer before she got into OnlyFans. You don't just go on OnlyFans, have no Twitter following, no Instagram following, no Twitch following, no YouTube following, and just make tens of thousands of dollars. Oh, yeah. And then, so you keep 80% of what you bring. OnlyFans takes 20%. And then on that 80%, you still have to pay 15% self-employment tax. And then you still have to pay state taxes. And then you still have to pay federal taxes. It's pathetic. Asmongold, you are smarter than this. You are smarter than to say, oh, you know, like as young men, you don't make any money. And then the pretty girls, you know, are making $8,000 a month because they're pretty. Come on. Oh, come on. Don't be an idiot. Don't be stupid. Please. 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 Asmongold. Asmongold. Asmon. Wake up. Wake up. Think. Okay? Think. All right. Is the custom request content 20% fee also? Yes. All of your revenue is any money you make on that platform. It's also against TOS to go make money somewhere else. It's against TOS. It's against OnlyFans TOS to ask someone to Venmo you. And you can get banned and have your page shut down if you're asking people to give you money on other platforms. They say that the reason is because they're trying to protect customers and they don't want people to scam people and then get money and then not refund them. But yeah, are any dudes successful on OnlyFans? Yeah. There are top earners. There are like top 1% earners that are men. It's just that the reality is men don't want to make content that appeals to a male gaze. Men don't want to spread their butt cheeks and be like, you can see my asshole, my balls, and my cock in this photo. Isn't it pretty sick? They don't want to do that because they don't want to make content for other men. They just want to take their like ferret dick pics and make thousands of dollars, but no one is going to pay for that. I don't mean to be the one to break it to you, honey, but that's just the truth. I'm sorry. You just learn what the market demands and you give the market what it demands or you don't. Asmongold, stop. This is the number one. This is the most idiotic thing you can say on the topic of OnlyFans. Easily, easily the most idiotic thing you can say. Dick and balls in bio, though? But dick and balls in bio? Question mark? But there are a lot of male creators that make a lot of money on that website. Oh, yeah. I didn't think dudes would let homophobia get in the way of getting their bread up. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. This is like a problem I have because every time I feel like I've learned something in life, I feel a strong need to tell other people about my findings about the universe. Dude, did you know that OxyClean can be used to make your whites white? I've been using bleach this whole time, and bleach fucking sucks. Go buy OxyClean. That shit will make your whites whiter than white. Not to be Billy Mays right now, but like you gotta get it now. I am not sponsored. There is no affiliate link. I am making no money off of this ad. I just genuinely couldn't believe I've been using bleach for years and you can use OxyClean and you don't have to worry about ruining your clothes. And in the same way, I felt like such an idiot finding out that OnlyFans is actually a lot of work and most, like the majority of people are making no money on that website. I almost feel compelled to tell other people. Like, because I felt like I was so lied to by idiots like this. Anywho, let's watch a little bit more. And I want to go get snacks. And I want to watch some Avatar with you guys.
Men and women have different advantages in life. But for a lot of guys, it really bothers them because they don't have the context of being 33 years old like I and a lot of other people in chat do. So that's the difference.
And that is not what feminism is meant to be about. In theory, according to some definitions, it is meant to be about gender equality.
I think if you want to have a word that's about gender equality, it shouldn't be gendered.
What you need to do is chat to the average feminist or see the average feminist influencer on social media.
Asmon, please. Asmon, please. Please. The term is gendered because one group has historically had significantly less rights than the other group. That's also why the term Black Lives Matter is Black Lives Matter. Because historically, one group has gotten a lot more police violence than the rest of them. And saying all lives matter is really silly. That's inherent. We don't want anyone dying to some bloodthirsty, trigger happy, or no, what's the term? You guys know what I'm talking about. Cops. No, we don't want anyone to die from some stupid cop. pig is too good of a term. It's rude to pigs to say that. But we specifically call it Black Lives Matter because Black people get assaulted and mistreated by the cops more than any other group, especially Black men, more than any other group. And that's why the term is called that. I promise you, you can pull anyone from the street that says that they are pro BLM. And if you ask them, do you think white people should get killed by the cops? You know what the answer is going to be? No. No, no one should be dying to the cops. Unless you're like robbing a bank with an armed weapon, threatening to shoot people. Yeah, then you kind of, I understand why the cops would use violence and force at that point, because it's like you literally have a weapon. Or like a school shooter. It's like, if you have to kill the school shooter, yeah, like, if that's the only way you can get them, yeah, it's probably better to shoot them than let them continue to kill kids. No one should be getting stopped. No one should get a gun pointed at them because they were going 10 over. No one. You should not. You should not. No one should be getting executed because they had a counterfeit bill. Crazy. Unless you have a weapon and you are threatening to use it, why is anyone pointing a weapon at you? Crazy.
Point out some of the inequalities that men face, such as in the education system, such as in mental health care, and such as how the economy is changing today with the decline of traditional jobs.
No, fuck all those. The most important thing, the biggest part that men are being disadvantaged in is actually in the legal system. As racist as our judicial system is, it's actually more sexist than it is racist. I know, crazy. I believe, now numbers could have changed, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Last time I checked, in terms of conviction rates for the same crime and the same background, Black men get convicted for more time and more frequently than any other group. And you would think maybe immediately followed by Black women, but actually it's immediately followed by white men. And then Black women and then white women. Yeah, our judicial system punishes men way harsher than we do women for the same exact crime. Pretty much across the board. And this has to do with benevolent sexism, et cetera, but it just has to be, it's just the case that, like, if you put a woman in front of a jury or a judge for, like, robbery, she's just going to get a significantly less punishment than any man doing the same crime. With the same background, the same history, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want to talk about an issue that plagues men, you should talk about our judicial system, because our judicial system is very sexist against men.
Do they care?
Hell yeah, brother. White men are number 2. Women can't even do crime right.
I think also, like, any person can observe the fact that there are a lot of resources out there that are explicitly for women, and there are not a equivalent number of resources out there that are exclusive for men. And
I mean, I would agree with this as well. I think another one that's really lacking is men's shelters are way more dangerous. And also mental health, but more importantly, sexual abuse and domestic violence resources for men are way worse. They're just, honestly, it's pathetic compared to the resources women get. And women don't get a lot of resources either. Our government sucks. But, oh my God, that is a serious problem. Genuine serious problem. And should be assessed and should be addressed. It should be, absolutely. The fact that people are getting raped in prison and we just accept it and make jokes about it, Hello? Hello? Have I lost my mind? Or maybe when you go to prison, there shouldn't be threat of rape. How about that? How about that? What? Isn't it like 80% of sexual abuse where the man is the victim goes unreported? Oh, I totally believe that could be true. I don't remember the numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if that number is accurate. I totally wouldn't be surprised. Or the fact that resources for men who experience domestic violence are really bad. And that like society tells you like, oh, you grow up. She didn't even hit you that hard or whatever. Like, no, no, actually. Like, if you are getting abused physically, it doesn't matter that you can take it, actually. You should be able to go to the cops. Or at the very least, go to some civil servant and have them help you. Just because you can take it doesn't mean you should. Some people even make songs about it. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. And that like, I don't know the numbers on this. And a lot of this is a little bit more anecdotal from friends of mine who've sadly been through these situations. But it feels like when men are put into situations where they are being physically abused, and just in case there's some idiots around, when I say physically abused, I don't mean like a slap on the ass or like, you know, like a shoulder bump. I mean, like, I am trying to hurt you and I'm not going to stop even though you're telling me to stop. That's what I mean. Just so that we're all on the same page. The fact that so many men just like don't know what to do, so they just like don't do anything at all until it escalates is terrifying. Because like I would say the majority of women today, the first time you lay your hands on a woman, she'll probably leave you immediately, as she should. Like the first time you try, and like the modern woman, the first time you try and punch her or slap her, and again, not in like the I'm going to slap your ass, in like the I am abusing you, almost certainly she will leave immediately and she will get support from everyone around her. Whereas it feels like a lot of men just don't know what to do. They don't know who to go to. And so they just live with it and hope it doesn't get worse. Oh my God, that's so sad. Like, that's like fucked up. I'm like tearing up thinking about it. It's very fucked up. Also, even if you call the cops for domestic violence, 9 out of 10 times they'll arrest the man. I know someone who this happened to. And like they called the cops because they were getting physically assaulted. And they pushed their girlfriend off who would just like beat the shit out of them. And they pushed her off and the cops arrested him. And it's like, oh my God. No, never, ever, ever. Never, ever. I didn't bother calling for that reason. Like, I wouldn't call either, but that's because the cop system sucks right now. And you should protect yourself, and the cops are not going to help you. But if you're ever in that situation, go somewhere else. Just stay at a friend's house. You don't even have to tell them why. You just be like, I just don't want to be home right now. I just can't. You can lie about it if you want to be like, oh, she's being such a bitch. It's like, don't stay. Don't. Because if they'll do it to you once, they'll do it again. They will. Anyways, sorry to get dark for a second. I just think that's a genuinely important issue. But you want to know what? None of that is because of feminism. Literally none of it. None of it! None of it is about feminism! In fact, feminism explicitly decries benevolent sexism, and benevolent sexism is what allows us to live in a society where women are just seen as like pathetic creatures that they could never do anything. Which is why we don't take them seriously when they do violent things. So maybe we stop blaming feminism and feminists and start talking about issues and say, we really need to fix this legal system. We need to fix this court system. We really need to fix like these mental health centers that are just so underfunded for men that don't take men's pain seriously. Yeah. But you would be hard pressed to find anyone that would disagree with you on these things, that would consider themselves a real feminist. So, okay. That happened because my ex-girlfriend, wait, I've been there. Wait, been where? Sorry, not a Reaper. I think I missed the context.
Because of that, a guy who's struggling sees that and they begin to resent women because they have an advantage in these circumstances or they have more support in these circumstances.
But like men have literally had the advantage for centuries. Millennia. And the first time men grab the shorter end of the deal with OnlyFans, that's when they decide they're going to start resenting women. But God forbid a woman ever says, fuck men. Just make it make sense. Just make it make sense. That's all. Just please make it make sense.
It's a natural response. Again, monkeys can detect unfairness. Not a surprise that guys can do the same thing.
No, absolutely not. But what will they do? They will blame men for it. They will say it is the fault of men themselves. It's the patriarchy. Men have built this system, therefore it's their fault. But when it comes to women's inequality, it's a systemic problem, which is weird. Because when it's men's issues, it's them that's the problem. It comes from inside. Yeah. But for women, everything else is outside. Again, it's men's fault. And the reason they do...
I think that men also do this too. This is a huge issue, and I've talked about this a lot, about how like guys are, and like people in general are like so fixated about blaming and putting the responsibility on some sort of like outside factor to stop them from having any accountability from their actions. So it's like, oh, I'm not sexualizing myself. You're sexualizing me. I'm just having OnlyFans because I like my body. You know, this is also like, it's bullshit. But at the same time, there's also guys.
Women aren't saying this is another one where it's like, can I get a source? All of the women I know who do OnlyFans, every single one of them, when I tell them like, how would you describe your, like, you know, how would you describe OnlyFans? They're like, oh, it's a job. Yeah, it's just, I just do it for money so I can pay my rent. Do you think it's empowering? I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't have a boss, which is nice. Do you think it's degrading? Mm-hmm. It's just photos. Like, I don't really... Huh? It's just kind of a job. Like, I don't... What?
It's like, oh, all women are hoes, and like, it's hoflation. I can't get a girlfriend. It's like, you can't get a girlfriend because you keep sending them a picture of your dick randomly. Like, stop doing that. Like, not every single bad thing that happens to you in life is a problem with culture. Sometimes you are the agent of your own demise. Sometimes it's your fault that bad things happen to you.
It's most of the time, it's because they're fucking ignoramuses. They haven't done their research. They haven't looked at the data. They haven't seen that inequality exists for both men and women and that it's desirable to address both of them.
I like how we have to go through 5 minutes of bad takes to get one good one.